So, I just made it to Atnastapi on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. Snowed a lot a couple of days, but it's incredibly pretty over here. It's really nice and peaceful. Decided to get the summer house, and I'm going to start the gear review right now by explaining to you a little bit about what I'm wearing, the things that I've accumulated, over, I'd say about a year or so, year and a half, and why they're so important. And we'll start with the jacket. It's freezing cold, and this one right here is from Mountain Hardware. It's lightweight, it's down, and it's packable. And those are the three things that I care about the most at the moment. And it's fantastic for this kind of weather. The second most important thing, in my opinion, in terms of gear, is going to be shoes. Now, I've used these shoes now for quite a few months, and they've seen not the most amount of wear, but they have held up in incredible ways. Now, shoes are really, really important for me for two main reasons. Number one is ankle support. You could see these ones here are quite high, but also relatively flexible here at the top, which is really, really, really nice. They're also quite sturdy here at the front. It's the main reason why I chose these shoes is because they are crampon compatible. So if I'm going ice climbing, for example, and I'm quite literally digging my toe into the ice with the crampons being at the front, this being so tough is going to protect my toes from getting broken, which is great. The construction and material quality of these shoes are fantastic, and I think Mammut did an absolutely amazing job with this specific type, which unfortunately is discontinued. If you're wondering, I believe these are called the Tovat Explorers. I'm leave a link to them in the description of this video, but they are probably one of the best shoes I've ever had. So yeah, second most important piece of equipment, shoes. Third piece of equipment, gloves. Now, gloves are something that, in my opinion, I haven't exactly started using. I never used a lot of, in the past. It's only recently where I've started to incorporate. It's a lot of wind. It's a lot of wind. Cut. We'll do it again. We'll do it again. Gloves are something that in the past I never really used to wear a lot of. However, now I've started to do so even more. Reason why is because I do believe I was wearing the wrong type of glove. Now, these ones here that I have in my hand, they're from a company called Devolt. Devolt is a Norwegian brand, and if you're wondering or have absolutely any idea about merino wool or the construction of merino wool or the reason why merino wool is so special, is because it holds your temperature incredibly well. This brand, they have their own sheep, so they get it directly from the farmers themselves. It's an incredibly controlled process, which means that the material and the quality and the product that you're purchasing is not only 100% biodegradable, but it's of the highest merino quality available in the market. So in my opinion, these are the best gloves that I have used, not only because of the construction, but because of the material itself. I like the fact that these gloves are not necessarily too long. They're sort of like the perfect length for me, and I tend to find that a lot of gloves get quite thin towards the fingers. These are quite fat in the fingers, which is kind of a nice touch. Keeps me warm. Yeah, I'm gonna close the door. It's getting windy now. So, third best, gloves. So, since we were talking about gloves and merino wool, and I'm about to go outside, so I'm actually going to change. Excuse me. I'm actually going to change into a thicker pair of socks. I'll explain the socks. I did mention merino wool and Devolt. the company that is responsible for the best pair of gloves that I've ever worn. Item number 4, the best pair of socks that I've ever worn. And these ones I've not only worn myself on countless situations, but also when I've been kayaking. Now, one of the things that I want to mention about Devold specifically, and the reason why I think this brand is so good, and I urge you to maybe purchase something from Devold if you ever get the opportunity, is because the wool that they use wicks moisture really well. So it keeps your feet really dry, really warm, and also your feet don't end up smelling as much, which is kind of a nice touch. One of the things that I noticed a lot about merino wool specifically is that you don't want to overwash something. So if I'm wearing this pair of socks like I'm going to wear now, what I'm not going to do is I'm going to stick them in the wash the day after. What I am going to do is I'm just going to let them air dry. And that's the key. If you let them air dry, they'll be fresh the next day, and they have no smell, and it's completely hygienic. So that's kind of one of the main properties about the socks that I love so much, is that you can reuse them without having to worry about feet smell, without having to worry about the fact that it's unhygienic, because the property of merino wool itself as a material is so good and it's so healthy for the skin that you've got nothing to worry about. I think what I'm going to do, because it's getting quite windy, is I'm going to stick on those micro spikes, and that'll be the next piece of equipment that I think has become pretty vital. Now, micro spikes are going to be these, and these micro spikes are exactly how they say in the name, micro spikes. Crampons are the really, really fat spikes that you put on when you go on the glacier. These ones are just to help prevent slipping, and when you're going off track, maybe outside of the city, and you don't really want to use crampons because that'll just ruin the metal, you use these, and that's exactly what I'm going to do now. Okay, this would go at the back, and this would go at the front. Like so. Just have to be a little bit careful, not to hurt yourself, but ultimately these things go over the shoes, like so. And yeah, they have pretty good grip, and that's what they look like. The rubber that's here is pretty tough, so it should be pretty difficult to break. Other than that, these micro spikes are pretty good. I'm just going to point out one thing, since I'm wearing the micro spikes, and that's also how deep the snow has got in this area. Some places like you could see just how covered I am just here, like you just sink, and that's kind of where you see, look, I just sunk, and that's kind of where the micro spikes do help quite well. They help with stability and grip. So if you are planning a trip to Iceland and you're looking at going outside of the city, for example, you've booked a tour on a glacier, for example, I'd always call in advance the company that you've booked with to make sure if they will lend you any micro spikes or crampons, so you don't have to spend money buying a pair when you get here. However, safety always first. So if you do have to buy a pair to be safe, make sure to do so, because a trip to the hospital sucks. For those of you wondering exactly where it is that I am, just really briefly, sort of a side note, because this obviously is a video about gear, but I just really wanted to explain to you a little bit about Arnastapi, which is an absolutely amazing place located sort of towards the tail end, or the tip end, of the Snæfellsnes Peninsula, which is the part of Iceland that kind of goes out like this. This area is unbelievably peaceful. It's not heavily visited, which is kind of a nice thing. And I think I came here once before. I believe it must have been around 2 years ago. But originally this video was meant to be about chasing down Arctic foxes, because they do tend to be quite prevalent around this area. However, due to time and also weather-wise, it was forecasted to be much windier later on, so it would have interrupted my filming schedule. So I decided to switch up, but I'll definitely come back and make another video about the Arctic fox and see if I can find some foxes around this area. They do also, I think, tend to be quite active at certain times of the day. So tomorrow morning, before I leave the summer house, I'm going to wake up early, and I'm going to see if I get lucky with some photographs. I probably won't film anything, but if I do, just watch out for my Instagram page. Yeah. Okay. Well, since we're at kind of an interesting area, I don't want to go to the edge too much, mainly because it can be a little bit deceptive. You can see there's quite a bit of snow that's piled up here on the edge, so I think this is the limit of where I'm going to stay. But the reason why I've stopped here is because I think it's kind of perfect timing, since we're talking about a little bit about safety, to talk about an item that has become quite important in my backpack recently, in my camera bag or hiking bag, and that's this, which is a first aid kit. A first aid kit is something that I never really used to take. However, I think now more than ever I have, because you can pack it with almost anything you need first aid related. Bandages, paracetamol, any tablets you may need if you're allergic to something. Especially since you are hiking alone, like I often do sometimes. Especially when I'm filming these videos, a first aid kit is a piece of equipment, a piece of gear that I find to be now more necessary than ever. Yeah, especially now that I have a little bit more commitment with hiking, and sort of my enthusiasm for it has grown tenfold, and I love making these videos for YouTube. This has kind of become a really important piece. What I really wanted to do was show you something, which I guess you could say is the second to last piece of equipment. Would you call it a piece of equipment? I don't know. That's up to you. For me, I brought them out here, even though I wouldn't usually bring them out here. But they are creams, specifically lip cream, which is this one right here. It's really, really good. Hand cream, which is great. And this one is just for the body cream. Why do I use cream? I get incredibly dry. There is absolutely no moisture in the air sometimes here in Iceland. It is incredibly, incredibly dry. So my skin gets like super flaky. It's awful. And the creams really help to kind of put that to rest, especially the body cream. So I'd say that's become a necessity during the winter period, more so than the summer. Now, for those that have stuck around until this point in the video, you probably are wondering, I can't just be wearing the down jacket, and you'd be right. I am wearing this. As I previously mentioned, Devolt is a company that I absolutely love because it's merino wool, and since we're in a bit of a sheltered area and I'm not getting much wind, I don't mind showcasing this a little bit. I won't get too cold. But this is a Devolt jumper or sweater, made from the same material as the gloves, just a lot more of it. This is one of the main reasons why I'm also so warm. Again, it keeps body temperature really well, and this would be probably the final and also one of the most important pieces of equipment if you call it that. I call it that, but pieces of gear that I've sort of used daily now, more in the winter again than in the summer period. But yeah, with this kind of setup, as you see now, with the rain pants from Bergans, might talk about the rain pants another day. I've yet to use them fully. I've only just recently purchased them, so I'll see how they do. I'll see how they fare when it comes to heavy rain, and then I'll get back about the rain pants. But yeah, so far how you see is how I keep warm, and yeah, that's about it. I think I'll keep this one kind of short and sweet. It's not going to be a terribly long video, I hope, and that's because I really want to enjoy this area a little bit more. I want to take some pictures. Yeah, and I kind of just want to have a good time. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.